there it is, in my opinion, the official launch to country rock. Yes, I know there were bands before them, but they were country folk, or just plain folk. Country rock was created by this group here, Poco. And a lot of people, especially within the Poco fan community, say, why didn't this band make it big? Let's look at the discography. So yeah, the US charts. Their records charted, but not very high. Until, shockingly, after everyone except two guys left the band, and they switched from country rock to more contemporary pop, did we start seeing a few hits. The albums are great. Hardly any filler. You can pick up any, especially these early albums. I'm going to talk about the Furet era, because that's where it all seemed to start. And it's well documented that Richie himself got frustrated with these numbers and decided to leave and look for greener grass on the other side. I'm going to say part of the problem was marketing. We all know that back in these days, radio was how you got your songs heard. The single was very important. I'm going to wipe this camera because there's some crap on the lens, I think, here. Sorry about this, folks. But yes. So picking up the pieces. The first album. Masterpiece. How many songs? 11? 12? But no single. Picking up the pieces should have been a single. That is the quintessential early country rock song. And it's the only song that has its own Wikipedia page. Go listen to this song, folks. Poco, Picking Up the Pieces. It is a masterclass, a masterpiece in what country rock is and what this band is about. Upbeat songs that sometimes make you feel happy, sometimes have sad, somber meaning to it. But we're picking up the pieces from a previous band that fell apart, the Buffalo Springfield, and we're moving on. And isn't this a great opportunity? We're going to stay positive. So then, they came up with this album, Poco. Usually your self-titled album is your debut, but for reasons unclear, this second album was Poco, with the oranges, so we call it the Orange Album, which features only 7 songs instead of 12, including one 18-minute jam session, which starts off with Nobody's Fool, which was on the previous album, which is a great song. And after Richie sang lead on almost everything on Picking Up the Pieces, we gave Jimmy Messina this. This is our first Poco single on the second record, You Better Think Twice. It is a great song. And Jim Messina is a great singer and a great songwriter. He proved that not only in Poco, but previously in Buffalo Springfield and in the future with Loggins and Messina. However, was that the best choice for the single? Well, I know a lot of Poco fans love this album, and I do, but to me it's a little weaker than Picking Up the Pieces. Hurry Up maybe should have been the single. Richie was the guy. Everyone else was there, and I get it's a supergroup. To me it always was and always will be a supergroup. But you got to put your best foot forward. Richie is supposed to be the leader of this band. A Richie song should have been the single. So the third album was actually a live album, but it did debut several new songs, Deliverin', which became their highest charting album at the time. An amazing set. They were opening up for somebody, I can't even remember who, and they played obviously a 40-minute set. They had some medleys in there. They played some old Buffalo Springfield songs. This version of You Better Think Twice, I think, is actually better than the studio version. I Guess You Made It. That is an amazing song. I know Come On is great, and they put Come On out as the single. But to me, I Guess You Made It should have been the single. And this is the studio version that they released later on in a compilation live. Not a live, a compilation greatest hits. They missed the boat on that one. I Guess You Made It should have been a single. Hard Luck. Another great song, written by Timothy B. Schmidt. This medley, you only get about a minute of that song. The full song itself is a classic. A Man Like Me, another really good one. So yeah, interesting idea, innovative concept to put out a live album with several new songs. But I think a studio album of these songs should have been there. And if you want to find the studio versions, you need the compilation called... what is it? Forgotten Trails? Something Trails. Now, let's talk about From the Inside. The computer's so old it won't even open up the photo. There it is. The first Poco album that truly was not just a Ritchie album. Paul Cotton joined the band. He sang lead on several of these songs. Timothy B. Schmidt got a bit of a profile. He wrote the title track, From the Inside. It is a lovely duet with Timothy and Ritchie. And if I'm not mistaken, there were no singles put out on this album. Singles. Yeah. No, there was one. Okay, Just For Me and You was the single. It went 110 on the charts. It's a great song. I love it. However, I would say it's probably the third best song on the album. To me, From the Inside is the hit. It's the title track. It's a rare, beautiful duet. Timothy and Ritchie trading vocals back and forth. It is probably one of my top 5 Poco songs out of their entire catalog. That spans 40 years, hundreds of records, including all their other projects and solo albums. To me, From the Inside should have been a single. Paul Cotton's Bad Weather. Everyone knows that song if you're a fan of the band. I'm thinking that should have been a single too. What's that phrase? Hindsight is 20/20. And of course, our fourth album, Good Feeling to Know. We think we got a winner here, right guys? Good Feeling to Know is a great song. It's going to be our anthem. It's going to be a #1 hit. We're putting it out as a single. Everyone's going to love this song. And flopperoonie. Zero. Nada. By then, it was too late. The Eagles had come around. They had taken the best things of Poco and added their own ideologies, fine-tuned it. They had the marketing. Something about the Eagles, they picked the right songs as singles, and they were more friendly towards radio. You might not like to hear this, but to me there's a lot of filler on this record. Timothy songs, there's I can see everything. It's okay, but to me it's not a great song. Keeper of the Fire, never really... That's the one I skip. Early Times. Sorry, Paul. To me, the best songs on this record, and Settling Down, and Ride the Country, should have been hits. Again, Restrain is okay, but it's not going to be a radio hit. Go and Say Goodbye. Interesting cover. I don't know about the timing. You're trying to prove that you're different from Buffalo Springfield and you're better than the Buffalo Springfield, so covering a Stephen Stills song, probably not the best time to be doing that. So I know broke Ritchie's heart when this song didn't chart, and I think they made the right call having Paul and Timothy write and sing songs, because there's talent there. Of course, Ritchie had pretty much decided it was time to move on, but he still had to make one more record, and they did put out Crazy Eyes. Again, Were there any singles? No. Nothing from Picking Up the Pieces. We go Poco, one single for Delivering, one single from each albums, and then we skip all the way down to 7, so no singles from this record. This is the most diverse Poco album yet. You get some bluegrass, toe-tapping type of stuff with Blue Water, Fool's Gold. It's like a medley. It starts out with Paul's vocals, then it goes into a banjo instrumental. I love that stuff. Timothy B. Schmidt's Here We Go Again. To me, that's the song that really established Timothy as a bona fide, all-star, superstar songwriter. That is a hit. That should have been all over the radio. But alas, it didn't happen. Crazy Eyes, if you could think of the prog country rock opera type of song, they're not going to play a 10-minute song on the radio. It's very different. It's very unique. And yes, of course, it's a tribute to Graham Parsons, who had just passed. Graham Parsons, of course, he was good. He was great. He joined the Byrds, and he helped the Byrds turn from folk to country. The Flying Burrito Brothers changed when Graham Parsons was there. He had a couple of great solo albums, and then he died young. But are we overstating his place in country rock because he died young? Maybe, maybe not. Heck, the Eagles' Bernie Ledden wrote a tribute song for Graham, My Man. Richie here covered Brass Buttons and put that on the record. J.J. Cale. It's interesting that they're covering J.J. Cale, Magnolia. Great song. J.J. Cale is like the poor man's Bob Dylan. Great songwriter, not necessarily the greatest voice. So a lot of people wanted to cover J.J.'s songs. But again, you're Poco. You're trying to prove you belong. You want to establish Richie, Timothy, and Paul as songwriters. The anthem here, and the best song, my all-time favorite Poco song, at the end there, Let's Dance Tonight. To me, that is the quintessential country rock song. If someone asked me what country rock was, that is the first song I would play them. Let's Dance Tonight by Richie Furay. To me, that's the single. That is Poco's greatest song and their greatest contribution to country rock music. So yeah, Richie left and then the band said, okay, we're going to carry on. Which could be tough. Everyone else has to prove, okay, the quarterback just walked off the team. Someone else has to pull up their socks, and they said, we'll all do that. And they delivered some good stuff here. But again, which one was the single? Faith in the Families, probably the weakest song on the album. Angel, a power ballad with some amazing harmony vocals and an amazing guitar solo in there. Angel is the best song on this record. Angel could have been a top 10 song. The harder rock version on the Poco live album that would come out a few years later is even better. Big opportunity lost. Rocky Mountain Breakdown, cute little short song. I gotta be honest, the rest of the album doesn't do much for me. But again, okay, we're getting into 15 minutes here. So the band would carry on. They would have some better choices for singles that still didn't quite work out. Keep on Trying, great song. That whole album. Where's the discography? Or the albums? A lot of Poco fans say the Fab Four era was the best. Seven, Cantamos, Head Over Heels, Rosa Cimarron, Indian Summer. Marvelous, marvelous music in there. A lot more depth. And Rusty started singing some songs in there as well. But by then, I don't know. It was a little too late, perhaps. So yeah, we can reminisce. And I'm not trying to be too critical, but... and again, hindsight is 20/20, but perhaps different song selections might have helped this band get the hits that they were elusive. And it is what it is. This music's still there, and I'm sure people will continue to find their music and listen to it long, long after we're all gone. And if you're seeing this video today, I don't know if you have access to, I don't even know, will YouTube be around forever? This is 2026. YouTube's been here for about 20 years. All these Poco songs are on there. Go find them, listen to them, and tell me what you think. Thanks for listening.